The lack of money for the average individual in today's economy has led people to some not-so-moral ways of creating an income for themselves. In this video, let's sit down together and spend some time discussing how broke people make money nowadays. And just maybe, if you and I take some notes, soon enough we can find ourselves sitting on a pile of petty cash. Either way, if you personally have been finding yourself enjoying my daily doomer commentaries over here on the page, then don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, opinions down below, and subscribe to see my daily videos right here on the channel. And a huge shout out to the handful of you guys checking out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Now, let's begin this shit show.
Everyone is freaking out because they're getting their money from that Facebook settlement that happened forever ago. Like, y'all are just now realizing that filing for class action lawsuits is a legitimate thing. This Facebook one is just the one everyone knew about. Personally, just got my $35 from PayPal. Here's my proof. It came in. Yes, it's real. But there are also billions of dollars going unclaimed every single year from other class action lawsuits from other big brands and companies that you use every day. Just to name a few: Capital One, Chobani Yogurts, Temu, Shein, AT&T, T-Mobile, Panera Bread, Keurig, and there's so many more. I first learned about class action lawsuits when I found the app called Settlemate. I'll put a picture of it here so you can see what it looks like in the App Store. And basically, I just filled out a little bit of information about myself, and then the app showed me how many thousands of dollars that I was personally eligible to claim from class action lawsuits. And then I was able to go ahead and sign up and file through the app. So if you're not using an app like me, you really should do some research and just go file for some of these class action lawsuits. Some of them have huge payouts. This is a legitimate side hustle. This is a real thing. Go get that money.
Now, I've always heard of people doing these, lawsuits or class action lawsuits, and you'll see them all the time. When you're listening to, like, the radio, when you're hearing, like, commercials on the news, you'll always see these. If you took this medication 15 years ago, you might be compensated for a return in whatever. You might be able to win some money through this lawsuit over this company decades ago. The one I can remember in my day and age, and from my generation, Gen Z, is there was a Fortnite lawsuit where a bunch of people were getting a couple $100s for, like, Fortnite skins that were, that were like purchased fraudulently, or they were like overpaid for. Anyway, a lot of people got money through the Fortnite lawsuit thing. And these are constantly coming up every day. They're always new. And I can imagine I probably missed out on a lot of money from not really being involved in these, because they kind of sound like a scam. My grandma told me if it's too good to be true, it most likely is. So I never really fall for these because a lot of them could be scams. But I have heard that, just like this right here, a lot of these actually do end up pulling through. And I looked through a lot of these comments because this lady ended up doing this. She only got like $38 back, but it's better than nothing, especially in this day and age. Every penny goes such a long way. But apparently you can make quite a few bucks. A couple of these people through the comments, I was reading through the comments, this is a real thing. And some people make a couple $1,000s regularly by doing this type of shit. So have you ever tried this? Have you ever considered doing this? Or it's just kind of out of your realm, out of your ballpark? Again, like I've always thought, seems too good to be true, but apparently it's not in every case. So what do you feel like? What do you think? Feel free to let me know down below in the comments, as well as your experiences, because I love to know.
This is your sign to start lowballing on everything that's in your cart on eBay and Depop. Nobody's making money right now. Like, it is so slow. People are not selling anything. If there is a time to lowball, it is right now. $8, $8 for these vintage polo seersucker shorts in the middle of summer. When everybody's buying shorts, $8. $20 for this shirt. He was asking like 50. He took my half off lowball immediately. Like, look at all the offers I'm getting. Like, especially if you go for sweaters or outerwear, $50 for this LL Bean bird's eye sweater. These things you can just tax in the winter. I'm not accepting this, okay? I'm offering him like $20. I'm getting one of these for $20. So help me God. So yeah, send out your lowballs. Hell, lowball me. I don't care.
Reselling has always been kind of like a here or there iffy subject. I have participated in reselling back in the pandemic. I was doing a lot of eBay selling. I was reselling trading cards. A lot of those, Gary Vee garage sale videos. I was a big advocate. I was a pro for that. I was not a pro professional, but I did have quite a decent eBay, shop, and I was able to make a side income through doing that. They kind of changed all the terms of services and kind of ended up not making much sense to do it any longer, so I stopped doing that in like around 2022, the beginning of 2023. Either way, but reselling has kind of had like a bad name because you're kind of like taking other people's stuff, lowballing them to go make a much higher profit for yourself, and it can be looked at as selfish. But in this day and age, man, I mean, if you're willing to let something go, and if that price suits you and someone else can get a higher price, and you're not too knowledgeable about the items that you're trying to get rid of, I mean, it really is fair game. That's just how the economy works. But I do understand how if you're like scamming people purposely, trying to like make them feel like what they have is not worth anything, just you knowing it's worth a lot, that's shitty and kind of immoral. But either way, what do you guys personally feel reselling? Have you guys experienced reselling in the past? Do you guys have a positive or a negative mindset surrounding it? Or is it just something that you think is just an evil, manipulative sport that is just ruins garage selling? It just ruins the grandmas, aunties, and stepmoms, stay-at-home moms who want to go and get the nice little knickknacks just to waste their little dollars. Or is this actually like a great part of the economy to, you know, reincorporate some of these old items that are just going to end up being in the junk pile anyway? So feel free to let me know down below in the comments.
I think more people should sue their landlords. I sued mine in 2023 and I won my deposit back plus damages in the state of California. And this is what I learned. One, landlords and property management companies are really just big dummies and they break the law all the time and no one holds them accountable. And unfortunately, we have to drag them to court for them to be held accountable. And then it's just like a one-off and it's us that holds them accountable. But all the other tenants still are being robbed by landlords. When I sued my landlord, it cost me nothing. It cost me time and research, but it literally cost me $0 to sue them. And then he had to show up to court. He had to have his documentation and it was all wrong and he lost. And the lawyer was basically like, you are literally a dummy. Landlords are landlords mostly because they inherited property. They're not smart. They didn't earn it. And when they use property management companies, they literally even do less. They don't do anything. The property management company manages everything and they get the profit from it after they pay back the mortgage and the property management company. So sue your landlord.
Now, a lot of people, at least the few people who are lucky enough to have a house, a foundation, and some sort of plot of land, they've come to the point where they're renting out rooms. They're renting out even like, you know, parts, even like the couch of their house, renting out even like the shed out back, all this stuff for even $200-$300, $150-$100. I've heard many stories, especially in the comments, where you guys have been able to find very nice people in your neighborhood who are allowing you to sleep in certain, you know, situations, even in your RV in their parking lot. You know, a lot of people are using their land to make a little bit of an extra buck, as well as helping other people find a place to go. So I don't think it's a bad thing if you can like negotiate a reasonable price between both parties, but landlords have always got a bad name, and I kind of have a back and forth with them. I mean, if you're just constantly raising the rates every single chance you can get, not really caring about your tenants' income, that's shitty. But I know there are many good landlords out there. I've never experienced many of them. Most of all the apartments I've had management wise, they weren't terrible, but I think they definitely cared more about the bottom dollar than they did about the tenants at hand. And I think it should be a rule where every landlord has to live at least like around the property, if not in the unit, or not the unit. You know, if there's like a big apartment building, I think the like manager, at least the manager of the office, the HR, whatever, whoever runs the management of the apartment building, they should have to live at the building, because I've had in the past where there's mice problems, there's leaking when it's raining. I live in the Midwest, so there's terrible storms throughout the winter, and there's many different issues in terms of that, and they just don't seem to care, because it's not really their problem. They don't have to live with it. They just have to come here to work, and it's not in their office, so they could care less if you have mice in a, you know, a building that's like three like units away, because they're kind of like attached in the cities. It's weird. There's some really big ones, really small ones, but there's a bunch of different size apartment buildings. Anyway, if you guys experienced this, have you guys had good landlord situations? Have you guys experienced shitty management similar to I have, or just kind of so-so in the middle and you don't really have much opinion? I'd love to know. Feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up this video discussing different ways that broke people these days make money, as well as just different ways that people, I know I'm just joking, not broke people, we're all broke at the end of the day, but just the way people have been trying to find side incomes to get by day to day in this lackluster economy that many of us are facing, despite which generation you're from, where you're from, or how much you make. But I'd love to hear all your guys' thoughts, opinions regarding anything discussed in today's video down below in the comments. I always love to read those, go through those, and reply to the ones I see fit, as well as a huge shout out to the handful of you guys checking out my videos daily, and an even bigger shout out to the handful of you guys checking out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Hope you enjoyed today's video. That's kind of all I got for this one, so hope to see you in the next one, and yeah, bye.